Good evening. I want to welcome everyone to the September 18th, 2024 Plastow Planning Board meeting. I open the meeting at 6:30. Charlene, could you call roll?
Richard Anthony.
Here?
Karen Robinson.
Here.
Lori Millette.
Here.
Tim Moore.
Here.
Pamela Birdie is excused.
Excuse.
Thank you. Dan Kane.
Here.
Nolan Pelletier.
Here.
And I know Bill Coy is excused and Jay DeRoche
Here.
is here.
All right. If you haven't already, take a minute and look at the, we have minutes from September 4th.
I have one minor typo correction. On page 4, the reference is accessory dwelling units. It's misspelled. It says, on page 4, accessory swelling units.
Swelling units. It's something new. Thank you.
Just a typo. Other than that,
problem.
make a motion to approve as ready.
I'll second it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Abstain? All right. I don't need to. Yeah. All right. I think our first public hearing, though, we have a request to continue for PB 2409. That's going to be for Strategic Real Estate Management LLC. We have a request for them to continue it. All right, so PB 2409 is before the zoning board right now, which it was continued to September 26th. So requesting that the planning board continue the application to October 16th. All right, so the public hearing for application 2409 regarding the 4045 Westville Road application is continued to October 16th at 6:30 p.m. at the Plastow Town Hall. And just noting for all interested parties in attendance that this is the official notification of the continuance and no further written notification will be forthcoming.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Doesn't October 16th put us outside the 65 days from the date we accepted the?
Yes, but I believe they're requesting the continuance.
Isn't it if
Do
the
we need anything more though, or
applicant
just?
requests it, it can be continued?
What date did we?
It's back in,
Was it August or July?
I thought it was July, but.
Oh,
I
okay. Was it
think
July?
I would just note in the minutes that since the applicant requested the continuation, we're assuming he also requested the 65-day clock be
Yeah.
extended to.
Yeah, I think that's.
Yeah, so I mean, just for purposes of reading it, and I suppose we have a request from the applicant's representative, Charlie Zilch. D, please accept this email as a formal request to continue the public hearing for the above referenced application to the next available planning board meeting date of October 16th. Thank you, Charlie Zilch.
Can I ask a question? Do they normally have to make a formal request? Specific, I'm not talking about a normal continuance, but when they fall outside the statutory?
Yeah, normally if we note that the 65-day clock is going to expire,
Right.
they usually submit a letter saying that they request an extension.
Okay.
But since we have a letter saying they requested
Yep.
a continuance,
It's,
Yeah.
it's just to interject, the packet that we got on it tonight, look on page 3. It says, it's written down that the 65-day clock expires October 26th. So they'll be here on the 16th.
Okay.
I guess that was the date.
We didn't
Okay.
accept it
Till August.
till August. 'cause
It was August.
So we didn't probably accept it until the second meeting in
Right,
August.
right.
Okay.
Right.
I would just ask, I wasn't
Yeah.
100% sure on the dates.
It
Yeah,
was
so
August.
We're still within the 65 days.
Okay. Yep.
Anything else? All right. So next on the agenda is PB 2411, the completeness of an application from Jeremy Hill for preliminary design review of a site plan that proposes the raising of an existing barn to be replaced with a new historically attuned replica structure on the same footprint to include a 6-bedroom bed and breakfast facility. The property is located at 18 Elm Street, tax map 41, lot 68, in the BC zoning district. The applicant is the property owner of record. If the application is found to complete, the planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing.
Preliminary design.
Correct. So do we actually have to, if it's a preliminary design, do we actually have to take it, accept it as complete, or?
No, I don't think so.
No,
No, that's why I said it's a
No.
It's a
preliminary.
design review, so whatever information they have, they have.
Welcome.
Welcome.
no,
You sit down, make sure you just speak into the mic so it can pick you up on the recording. It doesn't amplify.
Testing.
We'll see.
Okay.
Right. Tell us what you're going to do.
We're going to. I had an antique post and beam specific engineer out to Linden Cottage about a year and a half, 2 years ago to see what we could do with the barn. I had representatives from Concord, from New Hampshire state government, who deal in historical structures out to the barn around the same time. And the state indicated that there probably wouldn't be a real sufficient use in terms of trying to renovate the barn as is, to keep it completely historic. The post and beam engineer indicated that with enough restoration, we could keep the barn for 1,000 years as a hay barn, but we don't grow hay over at 18 Elm Street. So as some of you may have noticed, we've been working on the property for about 5.5 years now, and we've made a lot of improvements inside and out. And it's really just been a journey figuring out what's the highest and best use of the barn. Can we find a use for the barn? And then as we consulted the zoning, and the zoning changed a little bit and made it a little more favorable for us in terms of having a mixed use property. And we feel like it would do well as a bed and breakfast. It's well suited, well positioned as a bed and breakfast, where it's located, adjacent to town hall in the middle of town. It's charismatic property that appeals to people. So the plan is to raise the barn, put a new foundation in, and to build a structure that's generally the same shape as an existing barn, to do our best to make it look old, make it look antique, and put a 6-suite bed and breakfast in place.
Very good.
Nice.
Nice. Very nice.
sounds good.
Good location.
Sounds like a nice project.
So this is a preliminary site plan review, but I wanted to give everyone the opportunity to offer feedback, to give the abutters the opportunity to offer feedback, and so we're at the place now where we've done a pretty fair amount of preliminary engineering, but before we move forward towards the final permitting and engineering, wanted to get feedback from you guys, and give all the abutters the opportunity to offer feedback as well before moving forward with the final engineering that we're going to need and the permits that we're going to need to make it ready.
Anyone on the board have any specific questions? Oh,
I think it's awesome.
yeah.
Are you using any of the, you can't use any of the timber that's part of it, or just like probably as aesthetic things, you might use some of the timber?
Yeah, some of those posts and beams inside are still pretty good, pretty decent in quality. The barn board, the exterior siding, it's beyond repair. You know, the roof is beyond repair at this point. So I think that there could be a case where we repurpose some of the beams for an aesthetic value only. You know, it might be covering steel, you know, for instance. Right.
Is there still a cottage that's down there in the back too?
So that was
Halloran, I think was
there
the
was
name?
yeah the original footprint of the barn when we purchased in 2019 was 30. I'm saying this offhand, it might not be entirely correct, but I want to say it was 30 by 46 was the footprint. The back lean-to section, which was built probably somewhere around 1880, I would guess.
Right.
The original barn was probably built around 1840, 1850.
Okay.
And there was two additions put onto the barn, a left addition, which is about the size of a two-car garage, about 24 by 24, and the rear lean-to, which went up about probably 26 feet to the highest point. That section was taken down because it was
Okay.
fair. That one was a health and safety concern of ours.
Mhm.
So that section we eliminated a couple years ago,
Okay.
in and around a couple years ago.
All right.
So there's still some lumber hanging out, some old lumber, but that went down so that it wouldn't fall on somebody or somebody wouldn't fall on it.
Okay.
Do you anticipate, I mean, I guess, what's the calendar of activity? I mean, do you anticipate having doing bed and breakfast activity? I mean, have you thought that far ahead, or
But could you be a little more specific about?
year-round? Is it sort of a summer type thing, or is it a winter type thing?
Yeah, well, it's going to be a year-round activity.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'd be 24/7, 365 business. You know, I think it'll probably be busy when tourism is busy,
Right.
probably in the early summer, into the fall, and it'll probably be slow during the end of the fourth quarter and the first quarter.
Are there any other bed and breakfasts that I'm thinking that are operated in Plastow?
Not that we know of.
I mean, are you
Plastow?
blazing new?
Well, yeah, it's an
Territory
interesting
here.
question. You know, it's in the zoning, so we'd
Yeah.
assume that it's, you know, something that's encouraged.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah,
just-
but I can't find, you know, if I go on to Expedia looking for a hotel room,
No,
Haverhill
hotels.
River Street's about the
They're not
nearest
allowed.
thing, right?
Right. No, hotels and
Or the
motels
Red
are
Roof
off.
Inn in Salem, or I go all the way over to the seacoast. But as far as Lower Rockingham goes, there doesn't seem to be any legitimate enterprises offering, you know, hospitality.
Very nice.
There's just going to be standard fare in the way of the breakfast portion of it, or?
Well, it's going to look really old, but we're going to try to have a very modern approach to the food and beverage side of things. I doubt that there'll be a chef, right? Unless it's me or Liz. And so I don't know how much breakfast there's going to be with the bed and breakfast. There'll be a kitchen for sure.
Okay.
And it'll be fully stocked, right? But my envisioning is that aside from having the kitchen there, it's going to probably be more of like we provide a fully stocked kitchen, right? Make it yourself, clean up after yourself, kind of a thing.
Mm-hmm.
Subject to change.
Yep.
But I don't see us offering food and beverage services like to the point where we have staff
Right.
associated with
Right.
operating a commercial kitchen.
No, a lot of them aren't with staff.
Yeah, with 6 beds, I would imagine that
That's
it'd be
not-
hard to
Right.
make it viable.
Sounds like the way you're describing it, there wouldn't be alcohol served or anything like that. It's
I wouldn't
just kind of
imagine,
like
no.
fully stocked kitchen, you do it yourself, but
Yeah.
you wouldn't
Yeah,
be
it might
serving
even-
alcohol.
Yeah, I wouldn't be serving alcohol, wouldn't be selling alcohol.
No.
And the kitchen would be like, it's a stock kitchen, but you bring your core ingredients from the grocery store. You got oils, bulk goods, etc.
The only reason, I didn't know if you had to get a license for that or to serve or
Yeah,
anything
I
like
would
that.
imagine that if we plan to offer food for sale or alcohol for sale, we'd need to
Yeah.
beef up the licenses. But I
This
don't.
is bed and breakfast.
This is a bed and breakfast. This is supposed to be quaint, intimate, somewhat informal. Right? That's kind of the way we envision it.
Have you done any type of, I mean, you're establishing this, but I mean, is there a market for this? I mean, do you, or is,
Well, we're gonna bet there is,
Yeah.
right? Yeah, there's a market for it. It's currently a duplex. We live in one side and we rent out the other, and we've rented out the other as an unfurnished rental, as a midterm rental, and as a furnished short-term rental, and it's done well. It's always seemed to sell itself, regardless of how we do it,
Yep.
and the furnished rental side of it seems to have plenty of demand. The challenge is that it's a lot of overhead to operate that kind of a business, and you don't. It's hard to capture somebody with hospitality needs when you have that big of a space with that much cleaning and turnover need. And the idea that I could offer, a business traveler 2 nights without excessive cleaning fees and something small, more manageable, I think that there'd be there'll be a market for it.
excellent.
And if someone's if you've got family coming to town, where are they going to stay?
We're going to send them to your house.
Exactly. So that give us the opportunity to advertise.
It was always the Howard Johnsons in Haverhill. That was about it.
Well, they're rebuilding the Best Western on River Street, but
Oh.
it'll be new. I'm
That
not so
was the
sure
other
it'll still
one,
be nice
right.
though.
Be a Best Western.
Yep.
That's a bit of a seedy location, right? So our goal is to keep the rents high so that we keep the guest quality high.
Is there anyone here from the public, butter or anything like that wants to maybe opine
Back
or
there.
express yourself? I mean, if there isn't anything else,
Oh, there is one.
Yeah, I know. If no one else has any questions of Jeremy. Yeah.
No.
All right. If you want to just come up to a microphone, just state your
No.
name, your address,
Come on over
and
here. You don't have to go so far.
go from there.
Bob Lang. I live at 10 Stanwood Avenue in Plastow, and when I look out my window, I can see my homestead at 18 Elm Street, Linden Cottage. I grew up at Linden Cottage, and I don't know, a lot of you may know my aunt Ruthie Jenny.
Yep.
And my aunt Maud Dustin owned the house. And a few years ago, just as they were buying it, Jeremy and Liz, my sister and I were taking a walk around the block. And we, just for the heck of it, we just want to check out our own homestead to see what it looked like. And man, was it in disarray. Both sides. Our side, which Jeremy lives in now, and the other side where Ruthie and the kids lived in. And then as time went on, the improvements they made are incredible. And I'm so pleased with how everything came. Even last year, a bunch of my cousins rented it and stayed there. You probably know Kathy Jacoby, Nancy McCormick, and Bobby Jenny, all my cousins. They stayed overnight, and they had like a get-together with family and everything over there, and they were all pleased with the improvements over there. And so I'm looking forward to having the barn redone over like Jeremy plans, and I have full faith in whatever he does. He gets it done. He gets it done right. many times we'll walk by there and he'd be up on a ladder doing stuff. And Liz also, she's a hard worker. And even the kids they had working out there. And I have full faith in everything they do. And, I hope it gets approved. And I'm looking forward to seeing all the improvements done to it. And if anybody remembers the house and goes by it or wants to rent it, matter of fact, somebody had on Facebook looking for a place to stay for family. And I went back, check out 18 Elm Street, Linden Cottage, and they looked at it and they didn't even know that was available in town. And I think as word gets out, it's going to be nice, and it's a great place.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thank you very much,
you.
Bob.
Just one last question. What's your time? Do you have a aspirational timeline of some kind, or?
Yeah, I have an aspirational time. Like that, everything seems to take 3 times as long as my aspirations when it comes to this property.
Fair enough.
So, according to Mrs. Voss, once I have an approval, I've got 2 years to start, and I've got 5 years to finish.
Oh, okay.
And as much as I'd love to tell you that I'm going to be done in
In a year.
15 months,
No.
it's probably not going to happen that fast. Right? So ideally, I'd like to raise the barn in the spring and maybe get the foundation and some of the groundwork and a bit of the tree removal and stuff like that done next spring. And
I wish you good luck.
not entirely sure how we're going to fund the whole project at this point. So it could take. I'd love to be wrapped up within 3 years and in business.
Believe.
Oh, it's awesome.
All right. Well, we look forward to seeing your application, come before
Right.
us in a formal way. Is there anything else that you want?
No,
to just
really
sort of-
the reason to come here was, just like if we're going to run into, if we're going to run into no's, I'd like to get them out of the way so that we,
I think, there's probably communicated to you. I think, the police and fire really didn't have anything, to say. I think there might have been a question of parking, that they're not going to
parking
be
now.
parked on the road, the cars, are they? I think that was the only
It's going to be a
concern from
massive
the.
driveway.
Huh?
It's going to be a massive driveway. Yeah.
So I think that was the
Right,
only,
it's
that was the
one
only
side.
type of feedback we got
Yeah,
from.
no, it looked clean from the
the
fire
road
department,
manager.
the road department, and the police station.
Yeah.
And
Yep.
it's well suited, I think. We're short on frontage, but we're short on frontage now for what we're doing. So I don't see that being an issue. So as long as you guys don't if you think it's going to be a problem, say so that I don't waste too much time and treasure chasing it. Move on to something else.
Conceptually, I like the idea that, you're enhancing, and, adding value to the
Right.
community and things like that.
That's right there in the middle of town.
And,
good spot.
kind of blazing the way too for a bed and breakfast and such. You're the first one. And, and maybe,
I had no idea I was going to do bed and breakfast when I bought it. Right.
Excellent.
Yeah. All right. So,
all right,
any other questions? We're good.
I'm also.
No, that's it.
No, I think the small business nature of it too fits right into a lot of what we're trying
Yep,
to move.
does.
So
Fits right there.
I think this is a good thing.
Economic development.
That's right.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you for coming in.
Thank you.
It was good.
All right. Application PB 24-12. Procedurally, Tim, we should open the public hearing. That's what we're being requested to do.
Yeah,
Right,
open
so-
up first.
I'm going to reopen the public hearing on 24-12, an application from Al Couillard to reopen the public hearing On PB 2404, a 9-lot subdivision known as Newton Road Estates to request a time extension of 90 days allotted in the notice of decision to submit materials to the planning board.
Hi, everyone.
Hi.
Good evening.
I'm Al Couillard. I'm just here because I'm waiting for 2 state permits, alteration of terrain permit and a wetlands permit. The applications were filed months ago, and we just got notified both of those people had some minor questions. We've answered those questions expeditiously, and once they're answered, the wetlands have 30 days to respond, and AOT has 45. So I'm anticipating this being resolved much greater than 90 days, but just in case, I thought we'd go for 90 days so that we don't have to come back and do this again.
All right.
So everything's the same, the plan's exactly the same, I'm just waiting for the permits from the state. Nothing's been altered on any, the application's the same as you approved.
So you've been over with staff, though, for with respect to some of the items that we did grant the extension, that you would be coordinating with staff.
I did,
Okay.
I
So,
did, yeah. And that's gonna work out better.
okay. So there's no questions or anything like that.
No, I'm
We're
fine.
amenable to how it was laid out to
Yeah,
you.
yeah.
All right, cool.
it's perfect.
Anyone have any specific questions about it? I think it's pretty
We got the
routine, right?
answers. Yep.
All right, so. If that's it, all right, I move to amend the condition of June 12th, 2024, Planning Board conditional approval for the Planning Board matter 2407, a 9-lot subdivision known as Newton Road Estates, requiring the submission of all recording materials within 90 days as follows. Evidence of completion of all conditions of the June 12th, 2024 Planning Board conditional approval shall be submitted to the Planning Board by November 18th, 2024. Certification of the monumentation for the 9-lot subdivision shall be submitted to the Planning Department by November 18th, 2024. Once all state permits have been received, the date and permit number shall be added to the final recording sheets and the recording materials submitted to the Planning Department within 10 days. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstain? All right.
Thank you, guys, appreciate it.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Good luck.
All right. All right, so PB 24-13, the completeness of an application from Barbara Murphy Fielding for a 2-lot residential subdivision. The application proposes the creation of 2 residential lots, one having 0.674 acre of land acreage area and one's 167 foot of frontage on Springview Terrace. One lot having 0.715 acres of land area, 0.685 acres of contiguous uplands, and 83.83 feet of frontage on Springview Terrace. The property is located at 11 Springview Terrace, tax map 53, lot 37, in the MDR zoning district. The property owners of record are Barbara Murphy Fielding and Jared Fielding. The application is found to be complete, and the planning board may immediately conduct a public hearing.
Richard, I'm going to recuse myself from this one.
Okay.
I just had one question on one thing. They did say here that from the highway department was to make sure,
We have to
Yeah,
accept
okay.
it as complete.
okay. Well, I just didn't know whether they went over that first before we asked. Okay,
All right, so pretty.
okay.
Do I have a motion to accept it as complete?
Okay, where's
All
this
right,
one?
I move to accept the 2-lot subdivision application for the parcel at 11 Springview Terrace, tax map 53, lot 37, as complete. I have a second.
I'll second.
Tim? Before we vote, do we want to appoint an alternate? That we have a recusal? You think?
Yeah.
Like the alternate?
Right, so
I think it's
purposes
Nolan's
of,
turn.
Yeah,
What's that?
because she's
I
not
think it's
voting.
Nolan's turn.
I appoint Nolan as the voting,
Nolan?
yes, in lieu of,
You haven't had
Lori
that
Millett.
yet.
so, all in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? One recusal, and abstain? One, two, three, four. Was it 4-1-0?
Nah, I don't think you record, a recusal goes
Okay,
off the
yeah.
board.
All right.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
completely off.
Yeah.
All right, sounds good. We're not recording a recusal, so it's going to be 4-0-0, right?
400.
4-0-0. All right.
Isn't it 5?
Or 5-0-0, right? 5-0-0.
Oh. Yep, you're right. I wasn't counting. I'm the worst one on that.
All right, so,
Good evening, everyone. My name is Dan Borowski. I'm with Fieldstone Land Consultants, and I'm here tonight representing the applicant, Barbara Murphy Fielding, who is seeking a two-lot subdivision of her property. The site is 5337 11 Springview Terrace, which is located at the end of a cul-de-sac. The existing lot, which is shown in blue on the plan, is 1.39 acres in size with 250.83 feet of frontage, and is situated in the medium-density residential district. The subdivision we are proposing would separate off the existing house and the associated improvements and create one new building lot for a single-family home. The two new lots are shown in orange, and the existing house lot will be a little over 29,000 square feet with 167 feet of frontage, and the new building lot will be a little over 31,000 square feet with 83.83 feet of frontage. Some of these dimensions are smaller than what's required by the zoning ordinance, but earlier this month, we received variances to allow for the configuration that's shown on the plan. The plan before you tonight is revised with the comments that we received in both the staff report and from Keach Nordstrom Associates in their reviews. We have a soil scientist scheduled to go on site tomorrow to dig the test pits for the new septic system and for state subdivision approval for the existing house lot. I know there's a little confusion with the waiver request. I certainly am not requesting to waive any kind of state subdivision approval. I just didn't want the application to be found incomplete because, there's a little scheduling difficulty with the zoning board and the deadline for this application.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
we
just,
understand that.
well, just for purposes of, background, there does seem to be some extensive administrative aspects that need to be satisfied. So,
Right.
I mean, we'll let you do your presentation, but, just will probably makes sense to actually continue, to the next, meeting.
I think the only outstanding item is the test pit and the state subdivision approval from all the reviews.
I think the issue, just again, by background, is that I don't think our engineer or staff has really had an opportunity to sort of weigh in on the
They need to go back.
weighed in on the two waiver requests that have come in. All
Oh,
right, so,
Keach, I have a correspondence from Steve Keach about the two new waiver requests that he sent to Dee, dated September 16th. I don't know if you've seen that one.
We got September 11th. September 11th.
In the report, it says they haven't had a chance to review it.
View it.
That's the staff report we have in front of us.
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
It says both those waivers.
One is for a high-intensity soil map, and one
the HIS, yep.
waiver is for lot size by soil type, which of course we can't meet because the smallest lot size by soil type is larger than the lot sizes that we're proposing, and we got variances from the zoning board for the lot sizes that we're showing. That's why I kind of thought that was not applicable when I originally applied, and when Mr. Keach came back and said that I should apply for those, or he said I should demonstrate that it meets lot size by soil type, that's when I applied for the waiver. Because I guess if that waiver is denied, then this board would almost be overstepping the zoning board.
Right.
Yeah, so we have,
And then in his comments, he says, if you grant the lot size by soil type waiver, then a HIS map is irrelevant.
So the zoning board,
so the two waivers that we're saying, Tim, that we're saying that haven't been reviewed adequately are the ones that are, soils based on lot size and the mapping. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's where we stand with that. Our engineer and the planning staff haven't expressed, they haven't reviewed this adequately, those two requests that came in. So we're proposing that we continue it to is that problematic in some way that we need to know about?
I guess I'm just a little, I have the review from the engineer, and I think you were just reading from it. What more is he going to review? If,
you said the date was September 16th?
yes, correct.
No, we got one from the 11th.
No, I have
I didn't
I
see
mean,
it.
I'm just looking at the staff report
There's a
says
16th.
Oh,
that K&A has not had the opportunity to review these two waiver requests. You're saying you have?
I have a review from K&A,
Yeah.
from Mr. Keach. I'd be glad to read his comments into the records.
No, I think we have I have.
I guess, yeah. Well, I guess I got it.
I believe it's his comment number 2.
Vision plan has been revised. Yeah, okay.
Oh, I'm sorry, comment number 1. The applicant submitted a waiver cited the requirement, although ZBA previously granted variance relief from the minimum lot size requirement
Yep.
of Article 5, Table 22032E of the zoning ordinance. Full and final approval of this proposed subdivision will also require planning board approval of near identical relief from the minimum lot size by soil type requirement of Section 235-9B of the subdivision regulations. So I suppose if that waiver is denied, then, we've got conflicting boards. And the waiver for the HIS map is really to determine the lot size by soil type.
Further recommend expansion of. and specify preliminary.
I don't, like I said, I mean, we have a note that they haven't reviewed it, so.
Right, I don't know.
Okay. I mean, it's-
Conditions will improve useful. Questions. He's saying he's not, not definite. I would say you have to go by what the engineer says, you know? To us. I don't know.
I can say that we're submitting state subdivision approval this week, as soon as the test pits are done tomorrow. So any kind of lot sizing issue would obviously be kind of caught at the state level. So we were hoping for a conditional approval on, conditioned on state subdivision approval.
Tim, do you see anything in the way of, I mean,
Well,
I don't see where,
I don't have any problem waiving the HIS map requirements. The ZBA granted a lot size variance, so for, so I mean, we could, would make sense to grant that other waiver, but what were you hoping for conditional approval tonight?
Yes, sir. I believe the only outstanding item is the state subdivision approval. And that's simply because we haven't had a chance to go out there and dig the test pits.
Yeah.
I'd hate to tie this up for another month. For something as simple as that, we pretty much designed the lot line is configured as it is because we took the septic design into account when we subdivided the lot. We don't normally include site loading calculations on subdivision plans, but we wanted to make sure that the new lot would meet state site loading requirements. And when our soil scientist was out there flagging the wetlands, he did some soil probes in the new lot area. And he's confident that a septic system will work there and that the state will approve a design for this new lot. So if, I think it'd be very reasonable to condition an approval on state subdivision approval.
now, do you have state permitting waivers that haven't been withdrawn that you contemplate withdrawing?
We're not asking, I put those waivers in because the checklist said that any item that's not included you must request a waiver in writing for. And I knew that we weren't going to have the test pits dug in time for the submission for this project, because the submission date was the day before the zoning board hearing. So I didn't want to have Mrs. Murphy Fielding pay for that expense of having the excavator come out and having the test pits witnessed, if we didn't get the zoning variance. So as soon as we got the zoning variance, we got in contact with the health department, scheduled the test pits, and it just so happens that the earliest time that we could get our soil scientists and the health department together is tomorrow morning. So really digging the test pits doesn't even kind of play into the waiver for lot size by soil type. Your table for lot size by soil type, the smallest lot size permitted is 40,000 square feet, because that's the smallest lot size that's permitted by the zoning ordinance. So we obviously would fail to satisfy that requirement.
The second, lot 5337-1, you're good on frontage?
We received a variance for
You
frontage.
received the variance on.
Yeah, we went for the 2 lot size and 1
So
frontage
that one.
variance.
Yeah. Right. Yep. To permit subdivision, yeah. The 2 parcels, yeah. Sign comment.
So I'm looking through, yeah. The staff report, on page 3, waiver number 5. Regarding the location of wells and septics. I don't have any problem with waiving that requirement. So I'll make a motion to grant the waiver from Article 5, 235-18.5, or SS rather, at 11 Springview Terrace, and not require the locations of septics and wells within 100 feet of the proposed subdivision to be shown on the plan for reasons stated in the request.
I second it.
Yep.
All in favor?
Aye.
Well,
Aye.
before,
Yeah.
just discussion-wise, just so that, I mean, I guess the consideration is that
That's a kind of budding property.
if it's shown on the plan that it's minor in nature, I mean, are we assuming that it's, you know, minor in nature and as such?
Yeah, so the deal to me looks like on the new lot, they're able to locate the septic system in a spot that is within the site and clearly more than 100 feet from
Then
any
100 feet. Yep.
abutting wells. And similarly, their well is located on the lot, clearly more than 100 feet from abutting septic systems.
Yep.
All right, so with that condition made, I'll call the vote. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained?
I gotta put down abstaining 1 for, sorry. Yep.
The next one on top of page 4, waiver 8, the requiring underground utilities. Obviously, utilities are already there overhead, so it doesn't make any sense to require these utilities to be underground.
Right, supported by an engineer.
But there's a note there saying still pending. What is that?
I don't think that's for that one. Right? As
Okay,
noted, the
it's gonna
board cannot
get-
waive a state requirement.
Now, that's,
That's the last one. Right, okay, I got you. Yeah, no, number 8, definitely. It's supported by our engineer and the staff review.
So it's not, I mean, it's the electrical is all overhead is what.
Underground
Correct, there's a pole
utilities,
right outside
Okay.
the property.
right. Oh, we should do that one too.
All right, so that one's relatively non-problematic, given the
Yeah.
fact that.
Waiver
So-
number 8.
I'll make a motion to waive Article 3, Section 235-37.A, and to not require underground electric utilities for the subdivision plan for 11 Springview Terrace for reasons stated in the request.
Right.
I second it. All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed, abstained?
Okay, then the new ones,
There's a lot happening on this.
Yeah.
from the draft.
Additional 9 and 10, you mean, what you're looking at? 9 and 10, and
I didn't understand that I could have marked a lot more things as not applicable that I could have. That's why there are so many waiver requests. The staff report says a lot of these items are not applicable for a 2-lot subdivision. I just kind of wanted to cover my bases.
right,
Fair enough.
yep.
All right, so in terms of outstanding waivers here, we did
Right.
8 and we did 5, correct?
5, yep.
9 and 10 are the two
The 2 that were, yeah, right.
outstanding.
Those were additional.
Yeah, the HIS mapping and
The soils based on lot sizing
Now, is
and,
there any way to condition anything without, or is it that we should just move forward and continue this thing? Is it-
I don't see any good reason to require HIS mapping.
Okay,
And the same, I mean, they're kind of a pair, the soils-based lot sizing. They already got ZBA approval for a non-conforming lot,
lot
so
sizing, yeah.
those two requirements, I think, are kind of moot once they get the ZBA variance. So I'm not, do you know why? Because Canada is not an opportunity to.
yeah,
But-
that's that we technically haven't had an opportunity.
They haven't had the opportunity to comment on it. That's why. Therefore, the
But then
staff is not
doesn't-
proposing a draft motion at this time.
But there is his 16th letter, Mr. Keach's
Is it
September
to waiver
16th
9 and
letter.
10?
Yeah, goes through and
I'd say 9 and 10. Yeah, what's 9 and 10? Okay, 16, 9 and 10.
I see the letter as more observational than
Right,
an
Yeah.
opinion, but
yep. But we trust, he says, the comments and recommendations.
well, and what you have before you is essentially the staff recommendation saying that Mr. Keach has not had the opportunity, but I see the letter of the 16th.
Yep. That's what I said, it does cover this letter.
I agree with Tim, though, once the variance on the lot sizing is granted,
Right. No, I-
becomes somewhat moot.
Yep. Yep. I agree.
All right, so I guess, in terms, and number one of planning and Mr. Keach's letter, planning and design matters, number 1. In response, the applicant submitted a request for a waiver of the cited requirement, although the ZBA previously granted variance relief from the minimum lot size area requirement. of the zoning ordinance. Full and final approval of this proposed subdivision will also require planning board approval of near identical relief from minimum lot size area by soil requirements. We're not, in essence, doing anything new. We're just sort of,
Right, it's, do we agree?
I mean, if there was some engineering aspect
Right, he would say
to it, then
so.
I would say, yeah, we should wait for Keach's comments, but
Yep. I think he said it the 16th.
willing to make a motion to waive Article 2, Section 235-9.b, soils-based lot sizing. Motion to grant that waiver for that
Yep.
appointment, for the reasons, primary reason being the ZBA has granted a variance on the
You're not gonna be able
lot
to change
sizing.
that.
I second it.
Okay?
All in favor?
Yep.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? All right.
And I'll do similar motion for waiver 10. Move to waive Article 5, Section 235-18.II, KISS mapping. Because the ZBA has granted a variance on the smaller lot.
I second it.
Okay.
All in favor? Aye.
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 Opposed? Abstained? All right.
Yep.
So.
All right, so. um, So what do we have to further do?
I just have a question. Is anyone else here? I can't see who's behind your easel
Just
there.
the owner, Miss Murphy Fielding.
Okay. All right, apart from the extended discussion on waivers and such like
Right.
that, is there anything additional to your presentation?
No, if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
All right.
It's pretty simple, straightforward, 2-lot subdivision.
Yep. Yep.
Anyone on the board have any specific questions?
Any questions?
All right. Tim, anything specific? I mean, we're kind of, apart from that, we're looking to, in essence, conditional approval, correct?
Yeah.
We don't even have a draft motion for conditional
No,
approval.
well,
Yeah, we really
And you've
don't.
got some conditions here too.
No, that,
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, I don't know if we can,
Yeah, I
Not
mean,
here.
Well, that's,
I
we work on a process.
think
you know.
the conditions would be that the test pit data is submitted to staff and
Not gonna be till
the
tomorrow,
state
so.
subdivision approval is granted and noted on the plan.
Yeah, well,
Those are the only two outstanding items.
right, I think they're saying we need to see them, before you can,
and we don't have them.
no, that's what I'm saying. But I don't know what you want to do. We do it without it, Tim? I don't think we can we?
yeah,
I mean, there are elements of the draft motion here, but
Right.
a little reluctant to do the conditional approval.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, I am
Right,
too,
right,
yeah,
without,
no, I agree.
If everyone's willing, I mean, I'd be willing to, instead of waiting till October 16th,
I
I'd be
know
willing to
that's bad,
continue
but
this to our
that's, I
workshop,
get it.
October, or whatever the first Wednesday is.
Yeah, could that be changed? So he doesn't have to wait till the 16th?
I mean,
I'm amenable to that.
I am too.
Well,
yeah, I mean, it's like, it would be like a 5-minute
I mean, he's gonna get it tomorrow,
hearing.
We're going to apply it at the state tomorrow.
Yeah,
They'll
right.
take
but
their
you probably
time to
would get
approve
it.
it, but
Right, so
I'll do it so it's earlier, and then if they don't get it, then we do have to wait till the 16th. Make it as simple as we can.
All right, so when's our next? our
The
workshop is?
October, it's the first week of October.
October 2nd, isn't it?
Yep, I think that's it. Yep,
Second, yeah, sounds,
yeah, because October, boy,
I
this is
think
a
it's
wedding I've
October
gotta go to.
2nd.
Yep.
So is continuing it to October 2nd, is that a reasonable compromise from your perspective?
That's the best we can do tonight, then?
I
Yes,
think
sir.
so. I think we could.
Yeah, I think it is,
Thank you very much.
unfortunately.
Well, I'm just going to say, we're
October
going to
2nd.
continue it. All right, note it for the record, this meeting is continued, let's see.
To October 2nd.
All right, we're going to continue PB 24-13
Yep,
to October 2nd, 2024, 6:30 PM, Plastow Town Hall. And this is the official notification of continuance and no further written notification before coming.
Thank you very much.
okay, sorry.
I would also recommend that we put all this paperwork for this hearing and back in our folder, so he doesn't have to
Okay, do it
copy
again.
everything.
Okay, nope, we'll save everything that went with that. Yep,
Thank you.
thank you.
Take a minute to regroup here.
There's also this other thing that they mentioned too, that Danny was there. Say there would be no street on private.
Yeah, that's,
Well, I mean, you know. It was underlined, so. Okay. Wow.
so
Okay, so we keep that.
key material from this particular, this one
Yep.
we just continued so that we can.
Yep, continue to the 6th. That's it, right? I just want to make sure I've got everything here, including the plan, right? Yep.
All right, so PB 24-14, the completeness of an application from Hana International Foods for an amended site plan. The amended site plan proposes a 4,050 square foot addition and renovations to an existing commercial building for updated food processing and retail shop. The property is located at 132 Plastow Road, tax map 29, lot 3 in the C1 zoning district. The property owner of record is 132 Plastow Road Realty Trust, George I. Hana, TR. Okay. If the application is found to be complete, the planning board may immediately conduct the public hearing. Let's just take a second.
We don't have to
All right,
say.
is there
that.
anyone that's doing a presentation on this application? All right.
Oh, yep.
All right, okay, so, do I have a motion to accept it as complete?
Yeah,
Yep.
All right.
I'll make a motion to accept the application for an amended site plan for wholesale retail business use at property located at 132 Plastow Road, tax map 29, lot 3, in C1 zoning district as complete.
I second it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Abstained? Okay. All right, here we go. Thank you.
Thank you. That still goes with this too. This is theirs.
Before you start your presentation, you've received feedback at least from the staff, and the engineering review or comments, correct?
Yes, we received comments from the planning department and Keach Nordstrom, the reviewer.
Okay.
Yep.
In the packet that I just handed out, we have a response letter. We've revised all the plans per those comments. So,
Yep, I see the waivers too.
But in terms of those comments and responses, they haven't been subsequently returned to staff or have the engineer
they were
review?
returned today.
Okay.
They
all
were
right.
just returned today.
So, I mean, I think the intent is that we'll love the hearing, your presentation. If there was going to be the public, we would entertain their comments. But based on, what we heard today, we'll probably want to continue it just so that those responses can be reviewed.
Understood.
All right. Excellent.
Assuming this is available to use.
It should be, yes.
Yep.
There you go.
Okay. Good evening and thank you. My name is Stephen Mayer and I'm an engineer with Allen & Major Associates. I'm here representing the applicant, Hannah International Foods. The applicant currently owns and operates a Mediterranean food processing facility in Seabrook. And what we're proposing here will be an expansion of his currently successful business there. So the property, it's located at 132 Plastow Road, which is located at the southwest corner of the Rose Ave intersection with Route 125 in the Commercial 1 zoning district. Historically, the property has been used by the current owner as a food processing facility. We're here tonight requesting site plan approval to expand the facility by constructing a 4,050 square foot addition on the side and rear of the existing building. In addition to food processing, the applicant is proposing to add a cafe use of approximately 2,100 square feet and a bagel shop, for lack of a better term, of approximately 990 square feet. The front of the building where the bagel shop is proposed, which is in this vicinity here,
Okay.
we're proposing a new drive-through and pickup window.
Oh.
The drive-through will be used by, for picking up orders that were placed off-site using an online app rather than a menu board or an ordering board. The project includes a voluntary lot merger between lots 2 and 3, map 29, to provide room for the required parking. Access to this new parking will be via an existing curb cut on Route 125, and we're proposing a total of 34 spaces where 34 are required by the zoning. Because the applicant is proposing to do wholesale, we've designed the site in the rear to provide access for WB67 trucks to pull in and back up to a 4-foot loading dock at the rear. This loading dock will replace the 2 that are existing there today. We're also proposing a screened dumpster enclosure and pad at the rear of the building. There's one now. Since submitting the application, as I mentioned, we've received comments from the planning department and Keach Nordstrom. We've reviewed the comments, prepared a response letter, and revised the plans. And those revisions are all included in the packet that was handed out. One of the main concerns that the department raised, as well as the reviewer, was the proximity to the intersection where we're coming out with the new drive-through.
Right.
The intent there was to reuse an existing curb cut on Rose Ave and maintain a couple of parking spaces that are there now. And based on the concerns that were raised, we have relocated the 2 parking spaces that were proposed there and slid that drive access about 16 feet away from the intersection to provide as much space between the intersection and the access point as possible. As far as drainage is concerned, the site sits slightly lower than Route 125 and Rose Avenue, which means that almost all of the runoff generated by the site stays on the site. There are a number of different dry wells throughout the site now. Those will be, all but one of those will be replaced by the new infiltration systems that you see on the plan here. The 2 larger systems, the one in the back here, and then the one on the side of the building, those are SC160 Storm Tech chambers with a 12-inch chamber backfilled with stone. And then in the loading dock, we have a series of low-profile leaching catch basins, concrete structures below there. The project results in about 15,000 square feet of increase in impervious area. And so to mitigate the increase in flow of runoff, we've designed these systems to accommodate the 25-year storm event, which is what is specified in the site plan review regulations. So all the stormwater that comes onto the site can be infiltrated by these systems up to the 25-year event. As far as utilities are concerned, there's an existing well on site which will be abandoned. Front corner here, and we're going to make a new connection to the municipal water service. And they will also provide a stub for a future fire service. Due to the placement of the building addition and the new loading dock, we are rerouting the sanitary service interior of the building, and will be coming out in the southwest corner of the building. With that said, the existing septic systems will remain. They'll be cleaned and inspected as part of the project, but they are to remain. Other utility connections will also remain as they are now.
So you're saying no coming out other than on the Plasto Road, though, Route 125? There's no driveway out to that?
The driveway?
Yeah, any exit out of there, of any of these places?
There is a driveway curb cut on Plastow Road now, and we intend to use that.
Just use that, okay.
As far as lighting is concerned, we're proposing 5 new pole-mounted light fixtures and 4 new building-mounted fixtures. The fixtures will be full cut-off, and we've limited light spillage to the abutting property to a minimum. There are currently no exterior light fixtures on the site.
Can we go back to that, the exit that she was talking about?
Yep.
Is that also going to be an entrance? Are people going to be able to come in from 125? Or is
Yes.
it going to be exit only?
No, that's shown as an entrance and exit.
Yeah, that's why. I was
That's an
wondering on that.
existing
Is that
curb
what you
cut.
were wondering
Yeah,
about, Karen?
it's yeah, for both. Right.
So it's going to be both entrance and exit.
The project includes a robust landscape plan with a mix of deciduous and evergreen trees, shrubs, and perennials. And we've provided the minimum number of trees to meet the Plastow street tree requirement.
Okay, what about in front of the trucks or the loading dock? What's covering that?
What's covering, I'm sorry, I don't understand the question.
I just meant, is there any landscaping or anything? Because isn't that facing right on, or is this the back?
Plastow Road is on the
That's the
right
back.
side of the plan.
Okay, all right, I'm sorry. Yep,
Okay.
it's in the back.
Yep.
Okay,
So tonight, we're requesting 3 separate waivers from the site plan regulations, 2 of which are buffer requirement related. Article 3, Section 230-23A requires a 10-foot buffer between commercial 1 land and commercial uses. So on the south side of the lot, where we're trying to maintain the existing approved curb cut on Plastow Road and also provide necessary parking for the building. The buffer has been reduced to 7 feet where 10 is required. We're showing 12 arborvitaes along this section to try and increase that landscape buffer to the maximum extent we can. The second waiver being requested, Article 1, Section 230-14.1 CC, requires that existing septic systems and wells within 100 feet of the property be shown on the plans. So we're just requesting a waiver from that requirement for lots across the right-of-way. Where we're not affecting the septic system on the site, it seemed a reasonable request. The third waiver is Article 1, Section 230-12H2B, which requires a 12-foot buffer along the frontage of the parcel. The parcel now has several areas where there's no buffer provided at all, and we're increasing it where we can and maintaining where we cannot increase it. Thank you for your attention, and I'm here to answer any questions.
Questions from the members of the board?
I have one on the grease traps. They show 2 on the plans. Are they both there now, or is it,
There are existing grease traps. We're also proposing a new one.
okay. So there's 1,000 already on the, what it looks like, and then you proposing another 1,000? Okay.
why did they cut down the trees?
And those gravity grease
And the
traps, or
7.
they're not hydromechanical?
They're gravity fed, and
Okay.
then the pump chambers
Yep,
downstream of that.
Yep. Okay. And no change to the existing septic, right?
Correct.
How many people will be working, employees will be working in the facility?
So there's 3 different uses. I have it broken out by the different uses. So 12 employees expected within the cafe, 4 expected for the bagel shop, and 10 for the wholesale.
Where's the parking spaces? Yeah.
Jay?
Now, there's the wholesale piece. What are the hours of operation at this point?
The hours of operation, I believe it says, is 8 to 11, 8 a.m. to 11 p.m. Yes,
8 a.m. to 11 p.m.?
that's the expected hours, yes.
And will there be large trucks coming in
At that time.
at those late hours?
I can't speak to the hours of operation. Perhaps if this is continued, the owner could, I could contact the owner, or he could speak to that.
What,
Just
Yeah, I would,
curious.
check on that. Particularly, if there might be maintenance crews coming in during non-business hours, I want to expand the hours of operation to include that.
Yeah, I'll reach out to the owner and
See what exactly they
make
can.
sure
Yeah.
that we have these listed correctly.
How many trucks were, or
That's what I.
how many trucks on site would be, or
The site's designed,
support it?
the site's designed to support one vehicle, one truck at a time.
Okay.
But you don't know the hours yet, when they are
I
going
don't.
to be going in, okay.
I'm just looking at your landscaping.
Right, I was looking
Colored
at
one.
that too. That's on 125.
So that drive-up window, that's just an exit going out onto Rose Ave?
Correct.
Yeah, see, that's the only way out.
So if they come in from Rose, they'll have to go around the back
Correct.
and then come in?
Yep.
Where is there signage for this? Is there going to be a sign out front or just on the building?
So currently, there's signage shown on the architectural elevations that were provided on the building.
Just on the building?
Oh, that's a good picture. Sidewalk. Oh, there's a sidewalk in front there? There's a sidewalk.
Yeah, isn't there sidewalks on both sides?
I didn't know. It didn't look like it was. It looked like a one side.
Could you go back to the rendering again?
Sure.
Yeah, just, that looks much nicer than what's there right now.
Oh, there's
So,
no
I
doubt
mean,
about
it's-
that.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
That's facing Rose, right? That's not the street facing side?
This would be the 125.
Facing 125.
Side? Okay.
Yep. That the second one is, still, yeah.
Now, is that a
125.
bumped out, is that just an open glass or is that like some sort of enclosed?
This vestibule here?
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Entrance.
would be enclosed.
That's this little thing right here. That's why I was reading it wrong.
Okay.
No, it looks much.
So what did you say about the sidewalk? It goes just,
It's there.
okay, yep,
Pretty sure it's there.
okay. The elevation's a
And,
curb.
next door, I think, is the insurance place.
Right,
State
Yep.
Farm.
yep,
Yep.
Okay.
that is, yep.
So, are there any other questions or what, or do we want to consider the waiver request before continuing it, or? That makes sense?
We're going to continue. I just assume consider the waivers at the continued
continuance.
hearing. And
Yep.
unless there's some urgency that, well, I don't see any reason why we wouldn't grant the waivers. I mean, I don't see anything objectionable. But I would like to wait till the continued hearing.
All right, so I guess for purposes of,
Continue to
okay, the
16.
public hearing for Planning Board Matter 24-14, an amended site plan for 132 Plastow Road is continued to Wednesday, October 16th, 2024 at 6:30 PM, Plastow Town Hall. This is the official notification of the continuance to all interested parties and no additional notification will be forthcoming. So we'll probably, once this information is ingested and we get comments from staff and engineering, we'll probably consider those waiver requests at that time.
Same
Okay.
time.
All right? Thank you.
Thank you for your time.
Right.
Yep, thank you very much. Very nice looking building. Very nice. Much improved.
This is some portion of 125 built up.
We'll probably be bringing all this back too, then. So she doesn't have to do all this again too, right? Yeah, that was a lot on that one too.
Center Auto. So that's up around Brownish building.
Where is the agenda now?
All right. That puts us to questions of old business. Do we have any old business that we want to discuss? I guess it's worth noting, we did have a couple meetings for the master plan subcommittee or committee, and also the zoning ordinance committee. Dan, do you want to talk about, just briefly give I got the minutes
I
from you.
didn't write any minutes either.
Yeah, I sent out the minutes.
I'll be submitting those tomorrow.
And I will be finishing off the draft of what Karen, Laurie, and I discussed. They'll see it tomorrow. Once it's approved, it's going to go to the full board probably Friday,
All right,
So
that-
we'll
that'll be-
have 2
That'll be
weeks.
something for our,
October 2nd meeting.
yeah, I'll be adding that to the agenda. That'll be in by 12 o'clock tomorrow.
I still have to hand to you the notes for our group.
So the master plan subcommittee met.
At Master Club, yeah, and we're going to start with a chapter we've been trying to get started for the actual master plan, and it will be on economic development, which we keep being put off, so we're going to start it, and basically, we'll look at some other towns and see what their chapter is, if they've written one, or if they have one, or any ideas. And then we're just going to have to start to form our own, and we don't want to call them goals, we're going to call them aspirations.
Nice.
So it's going to take a little bit of time before we have the next meeting then.
So so once you get those minutes, whatever.
I'll get
bring
them right
me,
to you.
And I'll
Yep,
we'll
tomorrow.
submit them so they can be uploaded to our,
Yep.
our page.
Anything else you wanted to add, Nolan or Tim?
No?
Okay.
All right.
Very excited to dig into it. Can't wait.
What's that?
Just very excited to dig into the master plan, that's all.
No, it is. It's going to be fun. We're finally going to get to certain chapters we have not.
Contain your enthusiasm. It's a marathon instead of a race.
And CIP is
Gonna do it.
tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
I won't be there.
You're gonna miss out on that. What time is that? 6 o'clock?
5:30.
What's that?
5:30.
Outrageous. All right. So be it. All right, and I know that we've submitted our budget for consideration for the planning board. Okay, before I completely forget, did everyone have an opportunity to look at the email from the RPC with respect to the housing, the second installment of the HOP grant? Right. I think, we have to consider that, whether or not we're going to move forward with RPC drafting that grant proposal, and if we want to participate in it. Right. So I think an email was sent that was just sort of kind of overview of what that entails. There are a number of options of whether or not we go in it completely, or on a piecemeal basis. So I guess we should probably discuss that, and we'll take a consensus, I think, at the end of what the board wants to do, if it wants to proceed with the grant application in total, in part, or not to participate in it. So I think those are the three options available to us. And in that sense, we'll vote to just sort of memorialize that. So any discussion on the subject?
I think-
Spirited debate.
I think we got a lot done on the first grant we got. We updated the master plan, we did the land audit, we had sessions with the public, we did a survey. I don't feel as though we need to take more money and do another grant, because it's going to, we're going to have to change zoning. And that means changing density. And we're a very small town, 10.5 square miles. And I don't think people want to see a lot more housing in this town. And I think the housing that we do have is a very diversified stock. I think we have rentals, smaller condos, single family. We have additional dwelling units. I've noticed in town that there's houses going in here and there. I noticed one today on Kingston Road. We have had, like Mr. Couillard came tonight, he's going to build 9 houses, and then he's going to build duplexes. I just don't feel as though we need to do workforce housing. We also have an elderly housing overlay in town. If we wanted to do something on our own, we could do mixed use in commercial 1 and commercial 3. We could change Main Street where it's C2 to MDR. I mean, I don't think we should take the money.
Right. Just to sort of affirmatively state the other side of the argument, housing and increasing affordable housing is something thematically that we're seeing everywhere. It's coming down from the state, and those municipalities that, let's say, that don't have in sort of the right mix of affordable housing or affordable housing opportunities or workforce housings open themselves up to, potential, not, I wouldn't say liability, but I would say that you open yourself up to losing control of the situation. That, let's say a developer comes in, feels that they're not afforded a certain opportunity, and decides to litigate, and it's that litigation, and I'm just paraphrasing what Jen Rowden said, that if that litigation was successful, then you would have a situation where the state or kind of imposes some solution on us, and so we kind of lose control conceptually of, let's say, what we want to do. To your argument, and I've heard other people argue that perhaps we seem to have a good mix, and that we would perhaps have a good argument if somebody made that argument against us. So my feelings personally is that, if it's a grant and grant's being offered to us, that's money that we're not spending, and it's sort of an opportunity to kind of look at something that we normally wouldn't look at because it's not within our bandwidth or such. So I don't necessarily feel strongly either way, but it's sort of a pragmatic way of looking at it. Tim, you have any thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think we should probably go forward with it. There's no, in going forward, there's no, I can't think of the right word. There's no obligation. So if they come back with a workforce housing ordinance, we're under no obligation to accept that or put it before the town meeting. So, it gives us a draft of something that we can decide we either like or don't like.
I thought I had read on the application that we do have to change zoning, and we have to present zoning amendments by March 2026.
Yeah, I didn't read that as a mandatory.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I
It's in there,
This
though.
is
Written
to
in
help
there.
develop a plan, whether people agree that's a good idea or not. There's no handcuffs here, And my view is not dissimilar to Richard's, is that I think eventually all this is forced upon us. And I would rather be prepared than ill-prepared, and prepared in gathering information and just becoming less dumb about this. I don't look at this as like jamming a density, adjustment down our throat or anything like that. I just look at it as free money to become less dumb.
Okay, basically, when we did the first one, there was even question then what we were going to get out of it actually, or what we were going to have to do. So we spent the whole year, basically, when we did it 2 years ago, on the plan that we were given. And we kept trying to get to our own zoning and doing our own plans, like economic development, like doing the master plan again, or anything, which is due right now, by the way. And so we said, okay, we'll try it. Then we said after we'd finished that we were not going to do this again, because the money that you get for this and what you have to do for this, believe me, we've already been through a year of it for just the first part. That this is not, when they came to us and looked over our land, they even said in Plasto, we'll probably be one of the last ones that anybody's going to care about forcing any kind of homes onto it. The last two developers that came in, we said, we have not said no to any developments either, that they wanted to build a certain type of house. And others wanted to do the complexes, that we have done very well on our own. And what's left is zero. And that is the real problem. They will not probably come to a town like Plasto without water with them throughout the town, without sewage. We are not, we're just one of the few that are like this on both. And that's why I don't think this is the time to be thinking about more developing and like, holding us to something when we really don't have the whereabouts to do anything with. And that we've been doing fine on our own. And we do have the required elderly for the condos that are built, near Timberlane Apartments. We have different sections like that too. And that the houses lately, it's not, I don't understand how we are selling them, to be honest with you. But the building that's been going on has been mixed. And I think to put mixed with that I had suggested, to have your businesses, which is part of what we're trying to do too, economic development, have the able to live up above, which is what you called your mix, and that should be on the C1, it should be on C3, and that, again, is another type of affordable housing. I just do not want to get stationed into this program again and constantly working on it the whole time, because I think your results are going to be a little different and you're not going to appreciate them or like them that we can do on our own. We can waive everything too, and all the planning board really can have control. And I just don't think the state is going to be even interested in ours when we even had people come from the state and look at our property. And they did, and they told us there really is nothing left there. And that what we do have for green land, you call it, spare land or anything like that, we have very little of that too, but we're trying to keep what we've got. And so I just really feel that doing stage 1 was great. It gave us a lot of information. Very happy with it. We spent all time on it, totally. And I just don't think now is the time to go to number 2 now. I just don't think it's necessary for Plasto. So that's my opinion.
Do we know that in the grant? I mean, are we obligated? I mean, I understood where Jen Rodden was talking that, we have to sort of demonstrate a good faith effort. You just can't say work, and just go, no, we're not going to do it. I mean, I think I'd be apprehensive, if the recommendations came back to adjusting densities automatically.
Well, that's what Victoria was constantly talking about, was density.
That was the beginning.
Do we satisfy, sort of density bonuses with the elderly overlay considerations? I mean, if that's our default, isn't it?
Well, given the fact that only one developer chose to exercise that, yeah, I mean, it's.
But we did,
Yeah.
one developer did.
So I think I think you can have six dwelling units on an acre or 40,000 square feet. I think that was the bonus.
So hypothetically speaking, if somebody had a plot of land or whatever, and could they exercise that and just say that I'm going to, call it? I mean, what other stipulations, apart from having a
We can do it
density
on our own.
bonus, does that have? I mean, is it, when you say it's elderly housing, are you constrained? You just can't call it that and then do something else.
Yeah, right.
I would assume.
Yeah, I've forgotten what, you have to do financing through HUD or through New Hampshire
Yes.
Finance or something.
It's not our
Some-
management either.
Some mechanism for that organization to
Do what they tell you.
make sure that people are, only the elderly are owning or renting. And they do that on a regular basis, so it's, it's not a town obligation. And they have to be affordable, which,
We would do anyway.
I think, I don't know, the average wage in our urbanized area is like 65,000 is a median or something. So, affordable housing is not, it's still fairly expensive.
Yeah, it's a relative term.
But it's not like having to buy a $800,000 house, which we have probably our fair share of at this point.
Anything else? Anyone want to opine, add to the discussion, or do you have anything?
I do agree with what Lori was saying as far as we do have a diversified town as far as housing goes. But also, you know, it would give us an argument if we were challenged on it and we have the layover. But I also think that a study or a grant is a good thing to have to do work and be prepared for things that might be forced upon us later on, and we're prepared to handle that. The other part of it is we could do all of this, and in the end, it's the voter's choice. We have to put it on the warrant for that to be approved. So we can recommend it at some level, but in the end, it may not get passed by the citizens. So, but it's better to be informed than uninformed, in my opinion. I agree with what Dan was saying. It makes us smarter, less dumber.
Does that assuage anyone who might be?
I'm still a no.
I'm still a no.
All right. No one's saying anything. Anything else to say? I guess we're gonna. We'll do it in option wise. You know, if we want to say that we want to do it in total. So we're voting in total for the grant. You know, so all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All right. Opposed? Opposed.
Opposed.
So 3-1. You're going to vote, Tim, or?
Yeah, I'll be opposed.
So
I'm sorry, say that again. What was the motion again?
for all aspects of the grant.
For all aspects of the grant. Oh, let me change my vote. I missed that. So no.
Or no?
For all aspects. No.
All right, so I mean, it's, you know, so okay, one more time. All aspects of the grant, all in favor?
No.
No.
No? 1, 2, 3,
No.
4. Are you in favor of all aspects of the grant?
No.
All right, so no one's in favor of it. All right. So in part, so all in favor of some portion of it? All in favor? No?
No.
Aye.
No.
I'm in favor of some portion of it.
So you're in favor of a portion?
For some portion of it, yeah.
So, so that's 3-2, right? So we agree that we're not in favor of pursuing the grant then.
Missed
anyone-
opportunity.
Not. We already accepted one opportunity. We know what's up.
Anyone else have anything? Any updates, last minute thoughts, burning desires?
One,
Prime wetlands?
well, yeah, there's that. Since we now have a couple of working committees, we should update our rules of procedure.
Okay.
We did already update it to include subcommittees.
I think we deleted, the update was to delete them, I think. I think the only two committees are CIP and the RPC.
Oh, and we added them in May, this language that we voted on in May. Laurie wrote it.
Yeah, we can establish
That the
committees.
Planning board could establish subcommittees.
And we fixed the RPC, and there was some language that was kind
Yeah.
of quirky. And then in one of the sections, right after the RPC, it was in the CIP, Laurie had the language to add the right of the board to establish subcommittees. I don't have it with me, but I can
Yeah,
pull it
no,
out.
you did. You wrote it in. It was definitely in.
If you want to, apart from that, is there something else that you wanted?
No,
I think so, for next meeting, our workshop, we're probably going to have we'll consider your subdivision,
Yeah.
your subdivision changes. We'll go through that and then schedule a public hearing on it.
Yeah.
I would like to probably look at that proposed change that we would have with respect to, having, well, after completeness, with respect to having, certain procedures that if we disagree, let's say with, or have a question about zoning determinations, that whole mechanism just being at least fleshed out in terms of, the procedure of appealing it to the decision and such. So.
Yep.
And we'll have that added to the agenda for tomorrow. Anything else? Not,
Does it look busy for the next one? Or,
we have some homework. Yeah.
okay.
All right, so close the meeting as of 8:23. Thank you.